Hello, what are you doing here? That is my beer glass. Don't touch it. Don't touch the cam, please. I need it for the live show. Goodbye. Hey guys, how is it going? I'm really happy that finally released Jakarta REST 3.0. Man, I was waiting for this since a year because it's a blocker towards real new features. The Jakarta E steering committee did not allow us to add major new features. We must get it through the door, but it had to wait for others being busy with Jakarta E9. So here it is, finally. Am I happy? No, not really. I implemented great new features 2 years ago already, and they're still on hold. So yes, it's great that we have Jakarta REST 3.0 through the door, but I'm really excited for Jakarta REST 3.1 because they're my features inside. Like for example the Java SE Bootstrap API, which makes your microservices totally vendor independent. So unfortunately, as of 3.0, there's not really much in the box for you, and what you'll find will make you a lot of work in the first place. As you know, Oracle gave us the source code but didn't grant the right to use the word JavaX, so we were forced to rename all the packages. So when you migrate from 2.x to 3.x, you must rename all the package imports, and this is a lot of work. Okay, that sounds like an easy task using an IDE, but believe me, the manual work is much more than you think still. So it's best if you start with the migration process right now to have it done while 3.1 comes up with new features. You don't want to do both at the same time, migrating the packages and adding new features, and 3.1 will be here rather soon. So there's no excuse anymore. Migrate now. How to do that? First, get our hands on the new release. On this address, you find the new specification 3.0. It actually says it was released September 23rd, even if it was released on November 7th. Anyway, this is the right content that you seek for. And it's a really good read. You should read it once in your life. It explains a lot of things you might like to learn about JAX-RS. All the small things were described here, and there are even good examples, source code examples in that specification. If you want, there is also a PDF with the same content. I always prefer the HTML, but if you like PDF more, you can have it here and download it, and you can use that instead. Second, you want to have the Java docs. The Java docs are found here on this side. If you care about reading it in a browser, this is the way to go, and you find all the current information about 3.0 API inside that, but I would prefer using it in an IDE, so you can read it in an IDE and have it in the hover of your mouse, and you can find that once you get 3.0 added into your IDE, because it will not only pull the API jar itself, it also pulls the source code and it pulls the Java docs. So with this single addition, you get all of that inside of your IDE. Anyway, it's your choice. You can work as you like. And now we wait for the IDE to start. Great. So let's jump into our IDE and start the actual migration. It's not really complex, it's just a bit of hacking. So what are the steps to do? In case you have a JAX-RS application, for example, in 2.1, what you need to do first is replace the API from the old version to the new version. You see this is just the version here to change. The second step is, it's unrelated with JAX-RS actually, but in Jakarta EE8 there was JAX-B and activation mandatory in the implementation bundle. In Jakarta EE9 it is not, so you actually have to provide it if you need it. So this is not a must, this is only if you want to use it in your application actually, then you have to provide it. So just for completeness, you can see here how to add the dependency for JAX-B API in case your application is calling JAX-B. And here you can see that I have chosen some particular implementation of that API to be able to run that code actually. So this is only for running the code, and you don't have to use this particular product. You can choose a different product if you like, as long as it implements the new Jakarta XML bind API 3.0. As you can see, this is not even released, this is a pre-release, but it's working. So what you also have to do, certainly, if you choose a particular product that implements JAX-RS, that product now maybe needs a version update, or most certainly needs a version update. So in my case, I did that by choosing JAX-RS 3.0 milestone 6 from summer, which is working fine. It's not released yet, but in the next days it will be finally released. This is what you have to change in your POM file to actually get the jar files on the class path. Now here is the part where you really get your hands dirty. Let's get into the Java code and see the sole change you actually have to do. You need to check your imports. All your imports will start with JavaX, and you just replace it by Jakarta. That's it, really, that's it. We haven't changed anything else with the API. We just moved it into a different location. So that's it. It's a lot of work, but it's not hard work. And maybe your IDE will help you with search and replace. We do that also in the server code, in the resources, and in the client code. And there's one little thing we actually added to the API, and I think it's worth telling it. There's a small new feature, and this is really so simple. I hoped to get that years ago. You can create a URI builder from scratch now. So this is something which was possible earlier, but now we really have a method to do that, which is called new instance without any parameters. If you like more API changes, there is a lot to come. We have this on hold currently. It's developed and we do the tests now and documentation now, and it will come in JAX-RS 3.1. So stay tuned to get your hands on that one. It will be here soon. So to sum up, there's not really much for you in the box, and it does imply work for you, but please do the migration now. It will be helpful if you're done with that before JAX-RS 3.1, because in 3.1 you really want to concentrate on new features, and it will be here soon. So was this everything we did? Not really, just for your information. We fixed some bugs in the spec tags, in the Java docs, and in the source code itself. We added small performance improvements, which are not noticeable in most cases, but they are there. And the API itself is tested on every JDK between 8 and 15 actually. That unfortunately does not mean that all the implementations support JDK 15, but the API itself was tested. So you need to take care yourself. Check your implementation, what they say, what they have tested, whether you can run them on JDK 15. In future, certainly, we will support features from your JDKs, but we have to go in step with the Jakarta committee. In this example, I was using Jersey 3, which is compliant to JAX-RS 3, and it runs well on the latest JRE, but that is not a guarantee for other implementations. So what else is there to say? You find the links to the spec PDF, to the API, Java docs, maybe coordinates, all that in the video description. So that's it for today. As always, stay safe, particularly in these times of Corona, and party on. Heavens, I knew I forgot it, as always. Certainly, if you liked my video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. This really means a lot to me. Thanks.